My name is Amandi.
My name is Kevin.
I'm Jesse McLeod.
My name is Zareen.
I'm one of the lab assistants on co-op here at the ecology lab.
My name's Hashrina.
My name is Jihal.
I think it affects everybody everywhere, no matter what, because we're all people living on Earth, and especially with the coastlines. I know Canada's a big country, so we don't necessarily see like the sea level rise, but it affects everybody.
It's absolutely a concern because there's so many coastal cities in the world that are going to have horrific flooding and events over the next century. And I think we're already starting to see the beginning of that with places like Miami, Naples, pretty soon probably New York.
I think it is definitely a major concern, especially for me because I'm from Bangladesh and it is a low-lying country, not very with not very higher elevation than the sea level. So with the sea level rise, my country will definitely be under a major threat.
I think it's definitely a concern because it affects a lot of not just coastal communities, but everyone that relies on them, and it could lead to like climate refugees, and it affects all countries, I think.
Yeah, I mean basically what Hashbina said, there's also the concern about just a lot of coastal ecosystems, for example, such as mangroves. As sea levels rise, we're not really sure what could happen to a lot of those ecosystems, but it probably won't be good, and it could lead to issues if there's endangered species that rely on these areas.
I think it's a concern problem because it may affect the temperature and affects on animals living near the sea, and the effects on people who live near the sea.
Personally, no. I'm not really on the coastal cities, so no, I don't think it'll affect me, but I don't think that changes how important it is.
Yeah, I think it will. I mean, it's going to affect everyone, really. In theory, I'm going to live for at least another few years. And I think most predictions are by mid-century it should be causing quite a lot of disruption to coastal cities in terms of displacement of people and living inland. I think it's definitely going to be something that we're going to see the effects of. Also, inevitably it'll affect the Great Lakes, which we live quite close to, and the water levels there have been rising for years steadily.
I think it's going to affect everyone because it affects all the industries that rely on coastal communities. Personally, I'm from Sri Lanka, and I have relatives that live by the ocean, and if there's flooding events or anything, like their homes and livelihoods are affected, so it directly affects my family.
Yeah, it's like I don't really have any direct personal ties to sea level rise, but again, like as Hashbina said, it's a global issue, so we're going to feel the impact some way or another.
I don't know. I'm expecting it to be high, but I don't know anything really about it.
I have no idea.
I forget the exact level, but it's a few meters.
Maybe like a couple of feet, maybe meters potentially, depending on the area.
Right. Just like knowing that's such a high amount. I know they kind of cap it at like we don't want to go beyond 2 degrees. It's just concerning even thinking about that. And I don't know how high it'll rise, but either way, it's going to be not great.
And this is our app, Azure, Water Level Rises. It is an app to show how high the water level can rise in the city of Vancouver in Canada. When you open the app, you're presented with 2 maps. On the left-hand side, you're presented with a 2D scene of Vancouver. And on the right-hand side, you're presented with the same area but in a 2D map. Both are linked together, and moving one will also move the other. Both maps show the downtown core of Vancouver City. And on the 3D map, the buildings are shown in very high level of detail for the polygons in terms of how those buildings were to look in real life. Above the maps, you're presented with buttons to change the water level rise scenarios. By default, 5 degrees of Celsius is selected. What these scenarios represent is a scenario for the increase in global average temperature rise, and to see its impact on the city of Vancouver in the maps below. These mean that for every degree of increase in global average temperatures, we expect or we estimate the water level to rise by a certain water height. And these maps really show that. To interact with the map, you can hold left click to drag and pan the map, or you can hold right click to change the angle and direction of your view. Depending on how you're looking at it, on the 3D map, you can really see exactly where the water height can reach up to. You can change the different scenarios from 1 degree Celsius to 2, and then all the way to 3 and 4 and 5 as well. Or you can have all the scenarios active at once to really see the full impact of sea level rise. If the legend gets too cluttered, there's a button to hide the legend. And if you get too far away from the study area, you can always go back to it by clicking the Go to Study Area button. If you want to see a bigger picture of any specific map, you can always maximize the map itself and get a full screen of where exactly the water level is rising. In the buildings, in the buildings view, in the 3D view, you can see exactly how the water level is rising because the water polygon has been extruded to the exact height that you expect the water level to rise at. So here, as I reduce these scenarios, the water level would decrease appropriately. But increasing the temperature will show that the water level will increase. For the buildings layer, the map is designed to update and show in gray the buildings that are over water, but also in red the buildings that become underwater given the scenario that is active. Additionally, you can also click on every building and get information about the building type, the building zone ID, the temperature that it might go underwater at, as well as the number of residents who are affected based on StatsCan and open data, as well as an estimated cost per building. That is also based on StatsCan, open data, and census tract information for City of Vancouver. Additionally, there's a table at the bottom to show Vancouver flood risk summary statistics, to show the aggregate totals of the number of people affected, the buildings affected, the economic loss, as well as the land that becomes underwater for every appropriate scenario. We have a tab to show the how-to information that I just mentioned of how to use the app and what can be done, what kind of interactions are possible. There's a tab to demonstrate why water level matters and what is our mission and our goal for this app. There's also a feedback form if this app were to be used to engage with the community and get feedback on water level rise for the City of Vancouver, to get public opinion after they use this app and to see what can be done to reduce water level rise, as well as the feedback on the app itself and how can the app be improved to better educate the public. And lastly, we have information about our team itself.